Very good evening to all. I welcome to all in this session, additional session of International Virtual Conference on Women Literatures organized by Numancy Memorial Christian College, Merathandam, Kanyakumari, Tamil Nadu, India, and in collaboration with Cape Comorin Trust and Cape Comorin Publisher. I would like to share some information regarding this session with you all. In this session, we have 6 paper presentations. Each paper presenter will be given 8 to 10 minutes. So I will announce first paper presenter's name. Sorry. Yes, I will announce paper presenter's name. Aditya KS from Aloysius College. Are you present, sir?
Present, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Ma'am, please start your paper presentation. Your topic is the effects of slavery on the female characters in Toni Morrison's Beloved. You can start, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Very good evening.
I am
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry
Yes,
to
ma'am.
interrupt.
Please, ma'am.
My name is Fatima Naurin, and my paper was titled as Redefining Women in Contemporary Indian English Fiction.
Yes, ma'am.
And I wanted to inform you that I've already presented my paper with Miss Angeline, ma'am, on 17th
Okay.
November itself.
No issues, ma'am. No issues. No
Ma'am,
problem.
I didn't hear you.
No problem, ma'am. No problem. If you presented your paper earlier, then there will be no issues. It's
Okay,
okay.
ma'am. So I shouldn't want to paper it again, no, present it again. So I just wanted
No.
to inform that in the session.
Okay, no problem, ma'am. No problem.
Okay,
It's
ma'am.
fine.
Thank you then.
Okay.
Sorry
Okay.
for interrupting.
No problem, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. I am
Very good.
Aditya KS. I am a postgraduate student of St. Aloysius College, Idatwa. Today, I would be presenting my topic on the effects of slavery on the female characters in Toni Morrison's Beloved. I shall share my PPT screen with you. Okay. This paper focuses on Toni Morrison's novel Beloved, in which Morrison presents how slavery greatly influenced the forming of relationships between the characters, especially the female characters in the novel. In her novel Beloved, she depicts how African American women had problems in building and maintaining relationships due to slavery. Uh, Let me introduce the author first. Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison was an American novelist, essayist, editor, and professor. She was the first African American woman to win the Nobel Prize in Literature 1993. In 1988, Morrison won the Pulitzer Prize for Beloved. Her first novel, The Bluest Eye, was published in 1970. The critically acclaimed Song of Solomon brought her national attention and won the National Book Critics Circle Award. The main domain in her work is reviving the narratives of African American history, especially from a female point of view. Morrison's novel particularly focus on issues concerning African American women. Let's now look into the plot and general context of the novel Beloved. Beloved is Toni Morrison's fifth novel, published in 1987. As Morrison was enjoying increasing popularity and success, its reception by critics was overwhelming, and the book is widely considered Morrison's greatest novel to date. Beloved is a realism and fiction. It reveals a realistic manner. Also, it reveals the psychological aspects of slavery. Mythic in scope, Beloved is an attempt to grapple with the legacy of slavery. Beloved is also present a powerful account of the foundation of Black America. Beloved is the ghost of Caesar's murdered child, the novel set after the American Civil War. It tells the story of a family of former slaves whose Cincinnati home is haunted by a male violent spirit. The novel focuses on the mother daughter relationship, psychological effects of slavery, definition of manhood, family relationship, and pain. The main character of the novel is Side, a black girl who suffers from slavery. There are main characters in the novel. Let me introduce major characters. First, Side, the protagonist of Beloved, is a proud and independent woman who is extremely devoted to her children. As a young teenager, she was brought to Sweet Home, where she took a man named Haley Sachs for her husband. Side has a troubled relationship with her own past, often not willing to speak about it but obsessively revealing in her own head. Side's motherly instincts are her most striking characteristics. Next, Beloved. Beloved is the ghost of Side's third child, mother to protect her from school teacher. Her real name is never known. She is the embodiment not only of the baby's ghost but also the legacy of slavery. Next, Paul D. Paul D was one of the Sweet Home men. He has also suffered horribly and has reacted by shutting away any deep feelings. He is powerless against Beloved, who seduces him as a way of controlling him and dividing him from her mother. Next, Denver. Denver is Caesar's daughter. Denver is the most dynamic character in the novel. She is shy, intelligent, introspective, and sensitive. The end of the novel, she is transformed into a strong and independent young woman. Next, Baby Snacks. Haley Snacks' mother and Caesar's mother-in-law. Haley brought her freedom, which she accepted because she saw how much it meant to him. Caesar's tragedy broke Baby Snack's spirit, and she spent her last days bedridden and somber. Next, Haley Sachs. Haley Sachs was Caesar's husband and the father of all her children. Next, school teacher. Mr. Garner's brother-in-law. School teacher was a cruel and sadistic master, interested in ways to break the wills of his slaves, treating them in his study the way a biologist treats lab animals. Next, Amy Denver, a former intended servant. Amy helped Side to escape to the north, saving Side's life and helping to deliver her baby. Let's now look into the plot overview. The novel is based on the true story of a black slave woman, Margaret Garner, who in 1856 escaped from a Kentucky plantation with her husband Robert and their children. She killed her young doctor to prevent her return to slavery. In the novel, Side is also passionately devoted mother who know as school teacher. They are caught and in an act of supreme love and sacrifice, she too tries to kill her children to keep them from slavery. Next, now let's move on to the focal point of the present paper, that is the effects of slavery on the female characters in Toni Morrison's Beloved. Toni Morrison's Beloved offers a wide range of topics to discuss, from the problems of slavery, motherhood, impairment of individuals due to slavery, etc. Many African American authors dedicated their works to the biggest problem the race had ever experienced, that is slavery. Some of the most vicious forms of racial discrimination in history are slavery as well as colonialism. White supremacy originates primarily in the degradation of black bodies in order to have control over them. Using the device of dehumanizing the body, slavery aimed first and foremost at women. Being black in America was hard, being a black woman was even harder. African Americans have had to experience horrific acts of violence during and after the time of slavery. Slavery is a system of dehumanization. Its characteristics are ownership and possession. The novel Beloved explores many themes such as slavery, the black community, and motherhood. In Beloved, Morrison shows the physical and psychological effects slavery has on African American women. Morrison reveals the horrors of slavery in explicit detail, elaborating upon the physical and mental abuses suffered by Side, Poldy, and the other sweet home slaves. Through her main character Side, Morrison shows deep insight into a slave's psychological and physical state. Morrison considered her female protagonist as a heroine, even though slavery made her to do unimaginable things that a mother would not do. Side could not save herself from the chains of slavery, but she decided that she will save her children in order to ensure them a bright and safe future. In the life of character Side, slavery left a big scar. The main obstacles in Side's life are related to her relationship with her daughter, Denver, with the ghost her beloved, and with her lover, Poldy. Side's personal trauma, her individual memory can be reflected on a national or historic level. Through her female character, Morrison shows that the double marginalization has a negative effect in women's ability to form successful relationships. The novel excellently describes and explores the damages and consequences of slavery on all aspects of human life, especially motherhood. Sita did not know her mother because she was hanged. Baby Snacks has had different opinions when it came to her children, and Sita as a mother to Denver and Beloved shows what mothers are capable of. Most mother-child relationships were ruined because of rough life conditions. Their mother-child relationships in order to show the difficulties, cruel conditions, and pain most mothers had to go through at the time of slavery. Sita grows up and is a mother herself. She is so traumatized by her experience of slavery that she would rather kill all of her children than subject them to the horrors of slavery. Baby Sex has a different view on mother from Sita. Her children are not with her. Sita is a positive character in the novel, considering her significance for the community. Baby Snacks represents a mother figure for Sita and gives her the nature and love that she could not receive from her own mother. Furthermore, Baby Snacks, unlike Sita's mother, loves all her children no matter who their father is. Before she dies, it seems as if Baby Snacks passes on her wisdom to Denver. Baby Sass is not only a mother to her biological children, she is a mother to her community as well. Baby Sass acts as a mother of the community and shows the reality of slavery, more precisely what being a mother in the time of slavery means. She explains that people were treated just as numbers and objects, not humans. Slavery may have ruined the relationship between mothers and children and made mothers do unexplainable things. Slavery brought many misfortunes upon mothers' characters in the novel. For instance, Sita decided about her children's fate. Baby Snacks is separated from all her children, and Sita's mother gets rid of all her children except Sita because of the cruel system. They all have their ways of dealing with the pain as well. For example, baby sex finds a relief through emotional disconnection, Side through immortality, her sons by running away from her, and so on. Despite all that, one thing that could not be destroyed by slavery was the strong and powerful maternal love which Morrison portrays in her beloved. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You beautifully define each and everything. The novel which wrote by Toni Morrison, Beloved, you beautifully define the effects of slavery on the female characters. Many, many congratulations. Yes, our next paper presenter is Angel Mary Joy.
Okay.
Yes, are you present?
Ma'am.
Yes. Yes, you are very much audible, ma'am.
Good evening all. I'm Angel Merizoy, vocalist in the Mother Trust Uttarara. The title of my paper is For Identity in Devagani, Palace of Illusions. The Palace of Illusions.
Ma'am, your voice is cracking. Ma'am, your voice is cracking. Please check your network connection. Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but your voice is cracking, ma'am.
What about now? Hello?
Yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Can I? Okay. The Palace of Illusions is a novel written by diasporic Indo-American writer Chitra Banerjee Divakarni and was published in the year 2008. The novel belongs to the genre of epic fantasy, and it is a retelling of the Indian epic Mahabharata from the point of view of Draupadi, who was also known as Panchali. The novel portrays the life of Draupadi as a whole, from her fiery birth from the sacred fire, along with her twin brother Drishtadyumna, her controversial marriage to the five Pandava brothers, the shameful act of disturbing in the court, the Kurukshetra war resulted from her curse after disturbing, and finally, the end of her life during the Mahaprasthan. Even though her life was marked with many differences, she had to suffer many injustice and violence from the male-dominant society in which she lived. Her only solace was her twin brother Drishtadyumna, whom she called Adri, and her most beloved friend Krishna. Her secret love towards her husband's rival Karna is a fictional part of the story. Throughout the novel, Draupadi is searching for her identity and is confused about her destiny of changing history for which she was born from the fire. The novel, The Palace of Illusions, begins with a chapter entitled Fire. It shows the birth of Draupadi from the sacred fire along with her twin brother Drishtadyumna. The story of her birth was narrated by her beloved Daima, who was her nurse and caretaker. Among the stories told by Daima, it was her story of birth Draupadi always wished to hear for because it made her feel special. From Daima, Draupadi became aware of her marginalization for being a woman and her identity, and it began right from her birth. Her father Drupad, the king of Panchal, was offering prayers and sacrifice for nearly 30 days to get a son to avenge Drona, who was once his childhood friend in Gurukul and now the enemy. He wanted to take revenge because Drona conquered half of his kingdom. When Drishtadyumna rose from the fire, Drupad became so happy and held his arms to receive him, and it was an eye blink later Draupadi was born. Though he was reluctant to accept Draupadi, he did it later, as it was and it was only her twin brother Dri who clung to her hand stubbornly and came out of the fire together. Though her father loved her, Draupadi couldn't forget the initial rejection she faced at the time of her birth. Even after she was marginalized, and when her father named his children, he named his son Drishtadyumna, which meant destroyer of enemies. But he named his daughter as Draupadi, which meant only the daughter of Drupad. Dri's name fell within the boundaries of acceptability, but Draupadi believes a girl who was destined to change the history deserved a more suitable name. She accepted that name because she had no other choice. But as she grew up, she yearned for a more significant name. The childhood days she spent in the palace were very lonely, and it was only Dri and Krishna who visited the palace sometimes was her only solace. She loved Krishna because he was severely dark-skinned as she was. Draupadi was confused as a girl and a princess whether she was able to change history. But it was Krishna who comforted her to believe in herself. And she was afraid whether destiny could find her as she was shut inside her palace. Later, as time passed, Draupadi became a celebrated beauty with her dark complexion, but her identity as a woman was haunting her as she was refused to attend studies along with her brother Krishnadyumna. Again, Krishna helped suggesting her father that a girl who was born to change history should be educated. As years passed, Draupadi visited a sage who was known for predicting the future, and from him she learned some events about her future. She was told that she would marry 5 people, she would cause the Great War, and she will change history. But she didn't believe it completely, but years after, it came true. When her Swayamvar was decided, she was told to choose Arjuna over Karna due to the political strategies of Drupad. Though she was fond of Karna's eyes, She rejected him by mentioning his parentage and caste because she was told to marry Arjun only. Then she was married to Arjun, who was disguised as Brahmin. Even in Swayamvar, Draupadi was not able to choose her partner because of the existence of patriarchy. After the marriage, things changed tremendously, and the mother of Pandava brothers ordered her to marry the five Pandava brothers. Though all were shocked by this decision, she had to obey it because of Vedas, the sage who prophesied to Draupadi's life. A code of conduct was established by the sage to make Draupadi chaste. She belonged to each husband each year in the consecutive order of Pandava brothers and was gifted a boon of virginity because of her husband's sake, not for her sake. But after this, Arjuna, whom she loved most, derided her, and a sort of contempt was visible in his face. She faced vehement criticism for this decision, and she remembered frequently about her history. Years passed, and later, Pandavas built Indraprastha, which was the palace dreamt by Panchali throughout her life. There she attained the life she was wished for. But once Kauravas reached there, the fate acted fast, and jealous Duryodhan was subject to utter humiliation there, and Karna, along with Duryodhan, plotted for revenge. Then occurred the game of dice, which changed the entire fate of Kuru dynasty. Here, Draupadi is losing everything, her palace of illusions, and finally she was planned to be destroyed. Here, Draupadi tries to ascertain her identity. I am a queen, daughter of Draupadi, sister of Drishtadimna, mistress of the greatest palace on the earth. I can't be gambled away like a bag of coins, or summoned to court like a dancing girl. Then she remembers what she had learned from Nyaya Shastra, a book that was forbidden for women to learn, but Draupadi learned it to her willpower alone. If perchance a man lost himself, he no longer had any jurisdiction over his wife. Here in this moment, Draupadi realizes as a woman how much important it is to be educated. But unfortunately, things didn't occur as she expected. Dushashan dragged her to the court, and along with Duryodhan, they tried to destroy her, but was in vain. She was dressed and rescued by Krishna. It is at this moment she sheds her curse to Kauravas, which results in the Great War. Draupadi, along with the Pandavas, spent 12 years of banishment and 1 year of disguise with a lot of troubles. Among these, it was Draupadi who suffered the most. During the end of banishment and the beginning of disguise, Draupadi was abducted by Jayadratha, husband to Kaurava's sister, Vishla, and was rescued by Arjuna. At the time of disguise, Draupadi was tormented by Kijak, commander of Malsi army, and was later rescued by P. After finishing all these hurdles, she and her husbands were again rejected their palace and kingdom, and thus entered the Kurukshetra war. It was just before Kurukshetra war she realized the depth of her curse. The night she reached Kurukshetra, she saw a woman who was staring her. When she saw Draupadi more clearly, all of a sudden, she turned and fled, flinging up her hand in a gesture which Draupadi realized of the shock. It was a sign against the evil eye. Here, Draupadi rethinks about her curse and decision of war. As a woman, she was forced into this war. She thought the people of their country, especially women, were sympathized with her because of the insults she suffered from Duryodhan and the hardships she suffered along with her husbands all these years. She thought that these soldiers joined them to support their cause, but just now she realized that they joined the war because they had no other option. For their voice, Draupadi was a harbinger of ill luck, the woman who destroyed their lives and turned them to widows. This shows the real plight of Draupadi. As a woman, she wanted to change the destiny or history in a positive way rather than causing bloodshed and havoc. But Draupadi was helpless here because she was also a pawn of time and fate. It was not her deed that resulted in the war. It was the male world and the patriarchal system which molested and oppressed the woman, causing this devastating war. It was too late for Draupadi then when she knew about the truth about Karna and his love towards her, which she secretly wished for. But at the same time, she feels angry toward Kunti, who, as a final weapon to avoid the war, tried to offer Draupadi to Karna by claiming his right over Draupadi, like the other Pandavas, as he is the eldest among them. She thought how dare Kunti is to offer her to Karna like a slave girl. But even after that, she was feeling sorry for Karna for his suffering. At last, the war ends with the death of Karna on the 17th day and Duryodhan the next day. Though the war ended, Pandavas couldn't celebrate their victory because all their children and loved ones were slaughtered by Ashwatthama on the night. Thus, the war fought to establish dharma over adharma became painful to all, especially Panchali, as she suffered all the injustice done by men in the war. Though they got their kingdom back, they ruled it with grief, and it was completed by the death of Krishna after many years of the war. The Pandavas, along with Panchali, realized that their life on earth
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We have reached the end of your time slot.
Okay, let me conclude. Throughout her life, from birth to death, Panchali was a victim of a male-dominated world. Among her husbands, she loved Arjuna the most, but he abandoned like her an object during Mahaprastha. It was during her life in the palace of illusions she lived as she wished. She became the mistress of that palace. After Kurukshetra war, she was accused of Kritya by history. Thus, after reaching heaven, she was able to think and act according to her identity and wishes. It was because there were no gender roles in heaven. If there exists, she could not find and adhere to her identity in heaven also. There she is not afraid to her karma because there are no borders in this immortal world. Thus it is through that Panchali achieves true freedom. It is there she finds her true love. That's all my presentation. Thank you.
Very nice presentation, ma'am. And you beautifully define the role of Draupadi and which she faced at that time. I want to ask you, what do you think? What is the real status of women in current scenario?
In current scenario also, women are facing problems that was faced by Draupadi long years also. In current scenario also, women are molested, raped, and are facing marginalization and discrimination. And this process will continue on, especially in a country like India. Though we are promoting democracy in every aspect of our life, but women are still subject to marginalization because they are because of the gender itself, because of the existence of patriarchy. They are facing discrimination in every field of life, be it in education, be it in our own homes, be it in the field of job, career, or in a marital relationship. Women are still facing marginalization and sufferings. It will, in my opinion, it will continue till the end of the world. That's the real situation of women, even though how much advanced we claim we are.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
our next paper presenter is Anjali R. Ma'am from BCM College, Kottayam, affiliated to Mahatma Gandhi University. Yes, Anjali R. Ma'am. Maybe she is absent. Our last paper presenter is Aswin B. Nair, Catholic College, Kerala, India.
Ma'am, I'm also here. My name is Anjana. I am next presenter.
Okay, ma'am, please continue.
Okay. Ma'am, good evening all. And my name is Anjana I am. I am second year postgraduate student of St. Aloysius College, Edatua. Today, I am presenting on the topic the Holy Curse and analysis of menstrual myth across Indian culture. Now, shall I share my PowerPoint presentation with you? Is this slide is visible to you? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
First, moving to the first slide, what is menstruation? Menstruation is a major stage in girl's life. It is a physical sign showing that a girl is turning into a woman. It is a natural process where changes occur in uterus and ovary as part of reproductive system. While it is an integral part of girl's life, talking about menstruation is mostly avoided in Indian families as it is generally considered as a taboo topic. Primitive men were ignorant of the biological process, resulting in a number of myths related to menstruation, which has played a role in the way we see menstruation and menstruating women today. So, menstrual taboos are a result of such myths. Moving on to the next slide. Menstrual myth. What are the menstrual myths? The origin of myths related to menstruation in India dates back to the Vedic ages and is often linked to Indra's slaying of Rudra. In Rig Veda, it is stated that after Indra killed Rudra, water flowed from Rudra's secret place. The water symbolizes all the evil that Rudra had stored himself inside him. It is believed that Indra's guilt of murder appears every month as a menstrual flow because of women had taken upon themselves a part of this guilt. When the myth of India was retold 1,000 years later in Mahabharata, it gained a religious significance as several metaphors and images are resulted acted out in the epic. And menstruating women are thus prohibited from participating in normal life. She must be purified before returning to her normal life. Although menstruation is seen as impure event, it has also garnered religious significance. Moving to the next slide. In India, some places menstruation is celebrated as a religious festival. Now, let's have a look at which are the temples and what are the story behind in it. First one is Kamakya Temple. Kamakya Temple is a famous pilgrim site for Hindus located on the Nilachala Hills in Guwahati. What makes this temple unique is that there is no ideal here. Rather than deity, Kamakya is worshipped in the form of yoni-like stone over which a natural spring flows. Phallic worship is common in many mythologies and like Kamakya. It is generally associated with fertility and good luck. And Kamakya is known for the worship of goddess Kamakya. And Kamakya temple, the story of menstruating goddess. Kamakya temple has a rich history with mentions dating back to 8th century inscriptions of Mlacha dynasty. The Kalika Purana describes the Kamakya temple as one of the four main Shaktipitas or places where the body parts of goddess Sati fell. According to Kalika Puran, when Shiva was going to Kailash with Sati, her father Daksha insulted him. Sati could not bear the insult hurled at her husband by her father and immolated herself. Shiva, torn between misery and blind fury, picked up her corpse and started performing the Tanda. The intensity of Tanda was so overwhelming that it took several gods to pacify Shiva. In the midst of struggle, Sati's corpse was cut in 51 pieces. The place where they fell are called Shaktipitas. It is believed that her genitalia or yoni fell where Kamakya temple stands today. Kamakya temple is known for its Ambubachi festival, which is a menstruation. Next, what is Ambubachi Mela? Ambubachi Mela is the major festival of Kamakya temple. It is celebrated during the Ahar month in Assamese calendar. It is believed that during this time, goddess Kamakya goes through her annual cycle of the menstruation. What is worshipped at Kamakya during Ambubachi is not an image, rather a process, the process of menstruation. The very menstruation that imposes religious restrictions on women are celebrated at this holy site. In fact, the blood-stained clothes of goddess is distributed among the devotees as prasad. Next, Chengannur Mahadeva Temple in Kerala. Chengannur Mahadeva Temple is one of the oldest in Kerala, built around 300 AD. The temple is unique in attributing human traits to Diva. Like Kamakya in Assam, this Kerala temple also celebrates the menstruation of goddess. Goddess Parvati menstruates here, and one of the duties of her priest is to watch out for blood stains on her clothing. Once blood stain is found, the eldest woman of Tajman Mud is called to confirm the menstruation. The ideal of Parvati is then shifted to a small room and the temple is closed for 4 days. And Karl Marx and the temples. Karl Marx holds a very unique position in terms of his views on religion. His views divert a lot from other Western academics when it comes to religion. Marx has argued that religion is an expression of material realities. In this regard, both the temples mentioned can be seen as a site of social expression, which brings to ultimate dichotomy of our society. The fact that celebration of menstruation is only at theoretical level, while the society still sees a menses as taboo topic, brings out this dichotomous nature. Even the goddess bleed here. The fact that both these temples are shut for worshipping reveals how menstruation is seen as evil. Next one is menstrual blood. Menstrual blood, which is received as a prasad in Kamakya, can be seen as a violation of orthodox rules of purity. But a closer look reveals that, like Chengano temple, the blood and stain is considered impure. Closing the temple for worship points out that menstruation is something polluted and circumcision is part of this polluted phase. Since religion is such an integral part of our society, what it does it that influence our daily life and views as well. It plays a very important role in creating social norms. Next one, impact of myth on women's life. Such religious practices and myths across culture can impact on a girl or woman's life, her emotional state, and even health. The restrictions imposed on women based on religion and myth are responsible in forming ideas about menstruation that are not only false but can lead to isolation among peers. Thus, linking menstruation with religion further expands the already existing gender gap in society. Let me conclude my presentation. So, menstruation is a natural process which has always been surrounded by secrecy and myth. Some of the practices related to menstruation, like not bathing during the time, can have direct implications on reproductive health. Thus, there is an urgent need to debunk these myths and bring out an awareness about it. Religious practices associated with menstruation can be seen as a potential starting point to eradicate the taboo nature of menstruation. It can be used as a platform to talk and discuss about menstruation, thus putting the topic up for discussion. A strategic approach along with it to educate young women that menstruation is just a natural phenomenon and that they have the power of procreation only because of this virtue can help a lot in this city. Thank you.
Very nice presentation, ma'am. First time I come up and what is the importance of that temple in what is the importance of this temple. First time I heard about the values. I want to know, like in our North India, in that special days, we will not participate in any worship and we will not go to any temple. Same condition is in South India.
Yes, ma'am. It's the same condition is in South India. I think
Oh,
we are not going 7 days in temple.
okay. Very nice presentation, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, our next paper presenter is Ashwin B. Nair.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Very good afternoon. Very good evening.
Sorry, good evening.
Okay. Um,
So, my name is Ashwin B. Nair. I'm a postgraduate student of Catholic College, Pathanamthitta. And my paper's full title is Double Marginalization of Dalit Women and Intersectional Analysis of Baptai Complex, the Prison We Broke. So here I will be analyzing the exploitations faced by Dalit women, particularly the women, not Dalit as a whole. So Dalits have been the most exploited, subjugated, and oppressed class in India. Women of their this class are even worse victims because of their gender, as they face a double marginalization due to their caste and gender. Therefore, the case of Dalit women are different from that of a higher class woman. Even though the feminist movements were happening in India in the mid 19th centuries, the mainstream feminists actually focused on gender discrimination, which is necessary, of course, but they failed to address the issue of a huge portion of India's female portion, that is, the Dalit women. This alienation kept Dalit women afar from the equality that they dreamed of. Therefore, their experiences and needs cannot entirely be understood from the standpoint of either caste or gender alone. This made their issue standalone or a particular one. Therefore, addressing their problems requires an entirely different approach and that is different from the norms of conventional feministic theories. Therefore, I employed a theory called intersectionality to explore how two factors intersect to discriminate a woman of a particular caste. So before we continue, I would like to say something about intersectionality. Actually, intersectionality is an analytical framework for understanding how aspects of a person's social and political identities combine to create different modes of discrimination and maybe even privileges. Intersectionality identifies multiple factors of advantage and disadvantage. So, for example, maybe gender, caste, sex, race, ethnicity, sexuality, religion, disabilities, everything can be included in intersectionality. So, these intersecting and overlapping social identities may be empowering and oppressing. So, therefore, in the case of Dalit women, it is actually oppressing. So, intersectionality actually help us to broaden the scope of feminism, which in turn is helpful for women. Intersectionality therefore help us to see a widened region of study, which is largely focused on the experience of women who were white, middle class, and cisgender. So therefore, they had uh, problems like patriarchal issues, but they were unable to look into the issues of Dalit. So intersectional feminism aims to separate itself from that white feminism by acknowledging women's different experiences, identities, and ethnicities. So that's what I'm going to do. And I've selected a book which is also written by a Dalit woman feminist, which is The Prisons We Broke by Baptai Kamble. Actually, it was first written in Marathi and later translated to English by Maya Pandit. And so the name The Prisons We Broke. It is actually an autobiographical work by Baptai Kamble. So, since autobiography is not only the story that demonstrates the saga of individual, but also this depicts sorrows, sufferings, subjugations, and socio-economic conditions in a society. Therefore, it is enjoyed as a literary honor all over the world, and its literary significance is recognized by all. Similarly, Babdai Kamble's autobiography mentions certain important issues like caste discrimination, women's subjugation, and therefore it also shows how Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was able to influence the community of Dalit women to get educated. So, Kamlesh, the Prisons We Broke is considered not as a personal autobiography here in my paper. I term it as a autobiography of an oppressed and subjugated Dalit woman who wished that her unheard suffering is gifted with an audible voice. Okay. Dalits are okay. So we'll talk about what Dalits. Dalits are the people who are considered impure, dirty, and untouchable, as they belong to the lowest rung in Hindu hierarchical systems. And actually, here in the book, it's talking about Marathas, a community which is native to Maharashtra. So a Mahar community, that is it is called. They were termed as untouchable and dirty by the sacred Hindu Vedas and were subjugated to meanest jobs such as sweeping, husbandry, and scavenging. Women who already have a secondary status in society face a double pressure as they belong to Dalit community. They are subjugated in and outside the home. They never enjoy honor and dignity which should be due to them. Rather, they are the soft targets of all forms of discrimination in society. Kample has gone deep into her memory and brings to the surface the plight of Dalit women. Her autobiography is filled with heart-wrenching passages of miseries and sufferings of women who are made to receive the inhumane treatment without any fault of their own. There is hardly any place where women could feel secure and heave a sigh of relief. Their lives are made hell at every stage, and every place is no less than a torture cell for them. They are made to suffer in every form, whether it's physical, economical, social, and psychological. So the discrimination actually to Mahar community begins from their very childhood days, and it lasts up to their death. In the book, actually, we come to know that all Mahar girls are neglected in school by upper caste girls because of the fear of getting polluted. Even if upper caste girls pass by them, they would cover their nose and run away, as if these Dalit girls are not humans but foul smelling people. On the one of the upper caste girls says that she was made to have a bath after she reached home from school, as her mother didn't allow her in because she had come to know that Mahar girls to sit in the class. Campley presents an unflinching portrait of Dalit women subjugated truthfully by gender, caste, and patriarchy, especially the newly married younger women who suffer the worst. Actually, girls are usually married off at the early age of 8 or 9, maybe even more than that. For them, turns out to be nothing but a big calamity in that community. Therefore, even the community actually never acknowledge women, the Dalit woman. The first duty of newly wedded daughter-in-law was to prepare bhakris so that she could prove her culinary skills. She had to do all the household chores without being given the chance of making any complaints. They can never expect a compliment in return from their in-laws. But if a girl could not do the household duties, she was abused by her in-law, especially if she failed to make the bakris. Her mother-in-law would yell at her. And when a ritual was to be observed in this community, the work of the woman actually got doubled. They had to, plaster their house with cow dung and clean utensils and clothes. They led a very pathetic life in their husband's home. And Camlet dexterously depict how a daughter-in-law is not safe even before a woman of her own community, but are always the target of taunts and put downs, and is frequently physically and psychologically tortured in her in-laws. Their mother-in-law loved to give them some harsh treatment to them as they had received from their own in-laws, which tell a lot about their tendency of having to inflict unnecessary pain to the immature young girls, and would even curse their mothers if they failed to do a task. This is shown by the book in these lines. The condition of Mahar woman was wretched, worthless, and most miserable. They had to do all the household duties and go for selling wood to earn their daily bread. They collected all the leftover from places to give them to their children. And most of the time, women had to go on hunger unendingly. And Dalit men never bothered about providing nutritious and hygienic food to the even to the new mothers. And women had to be forcibly content with only the gruel made from jowar. Campbell says that the Mahar women were limited to and only bound by all domestic chores, and they never had the provisions of self hygiene and self care. And the book narrates that a Dalit woman was always treated as a sexual object and was made available to the upper caste men whenever they had a sexual urge. Dalit men were supposed to offer their wives to upper caste people to please them sexually in every possible manners. Camble in this book has actually exposed the hypocritical mental makeup of the upper class section of Indian society. Since the marginalization, victimization, and enslavement of Dalits is based on this thinking that the Dalits are dirty and contaminated, they are treated as untouchable. Such mentality is skipped away whenever it comes to the benefits of those upper caste sections in all indirect forms. The upper caste Hindus are dependent on the Dalits, but they never show it publicly. Kamble masterfully exposes these double standards. Similarly, on marriage occasion, the Brahmin priest would be invited to solemnize the marriage. The fear of getting polluted by Dalit makes the Brahmin priest sit at a distance. However, he has no qualms in accepting dakshina money and few kilos of pulse, rice, or wheat, or whatever they give him. And Dalit women shown in this text, in this particular text, emerge as they are sandwiched between the Brahmanical theories and Dalit patriarchy, as they are doubly oppressed by their gender and their community. The Dalit community members were influenced by the joys of enslaving others. Though the text explores how the Brahmanic domination had turned to the Mahas as worse as animals, Campbell secures a path for the emancipation of Dalit women through the ideology of Ambedkar. We can see that towards the end of the work. But the physical torture that a Dalit woman goes through not only involves physical injuries but also inflicts deep psychological wounds to them. Caste and untouchable social practices allowed Mahar women to work for a minimum age. But the products of their labor are purchased by the upper caste households anyway, but they refuse to touch it. If these items have visible spots on their bodies, they would not accept it. In fact, she goes to point out the power dynamics requiring on account of family and sociological relations. Men, women are pitted against each other as well, leading to worsening conditions of women in general. Mahar woman, actually, there is a line in the book which talks about how a Mahar woman had to carry the feces of a newlywed Brahmin woman on their heads, since Hindu custom required the Brahmin woman not to leave the house even for the purpose of deification during this period to ward off evils. Thus, we can see how Campbell portrays the miserable life of her community and how much neglected they were. She also uses her work to disclose how two elements can intersect to make a Dalit woman double marginalized. Autobiographies of Dalit women can be viewed as stories of protest against exploitation by external structures. Thus, by establishing a Dalit woman's identity as influenced by the mutual and intersecting caste and gender structures. The autobiography of a Dalit woman strengthens her feminist identity as portrayed in this work, which is considered to be one of the best Dalit Dalit feminist literature. These autobiographies reflect a shift from the belief that the situation of Dalit women would be improved through caste abolition, to the realization that caste centralization in the Dalit women leads to the suppression of issues affecting Dalit women. Therefore, it is evident that caste and gender actually intersect to multiply the marginalization that the Dalit woman faces. So, as to several instances that are available in this text are pointing towards the same as well. Thus, our text cannot be just viewed as a personal work, it can be viewed as a general account of the situation of Dalit women. So I would like to conclude that the two identities as gender and caste do intersect each other so as to doubly marginalize a Dalit woman. Even though Dalit as a community is seen as a lower caste, but a woman of that community is marginalized in a separate way as well. Therefore, they are being marginalized in a way to which increases their hardships and problems that they face. So I would like to conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Very nicely explained, sir. I would like to ask few questions from you. Please tell me, do you uh, do you think so? Feminism is required in current scenario?
Yes, ma'am. I believe that feminism is required in current scenario, and I think it would also be required in coming years as well, because feminism is actually good for even the men. Actually, we are sharing our responsibilities with women as well as men. Therefore, it's doing no harm to us. So I have no right to say against it. And I do believe that women actually require an equal space in the society or community. So it is a necessity actually, not a need. But I think it is a necessity that even men should acknowledge the fact that feminism is needed.
Okay. In your presentation, you explained about women task. what do you think? If your mother or your wife is doing household work, then you are torturing to her.
I mean, in the sense, in a family context, actually, I would say that a single person doing all the duties would be a torture, of course. But if you're sharing the responsibilities, that would be good. If a husband is ready to share the responsibility with a woman, and they do everything with equally distributed tasks, that would be great. But if a woman is alone in a in a kitchen or cleaning or cooking, that would be a burden for her because she has her own things to be taken care of. And if she does the things alone, she would need to be in the kitchen forever. So in my opinion, the task should be divided, and almost everyone can cook because I believe it's a life skill and everybody needs to learn it. So everybody can cook, and the responsibility should be shared among each other.
Okay, very nice views. Thank you so much, sir. Uh, Thank you very much. I
Thank
would
you, Nima.
like, thank you so much, sir. This was our last paper presentation. I would like to congratulate all paper presenters. You justified your paper beautifully, and I would like to congratulate our organizers also. And also, I want to thank to Dr. Regents Lewis, sir, for giving me this opportunity for chair this session. Thank you so much, sir.